The research questions delve into the complex relationship between cultural relativism and caste systems, exploring its impact on social hierarchies, inequality, and discrimination. The questions examine how cultural relativism, which advocates for respecting cultural practices, can influence perceptions of caste-based inequality and contribute to the persistence of discriminatory practices in modern society. They also investigate the tension between cultural relativism and universal human rights, which promote equality, and how these differing views may lead to conflicts between traditional systems and movements for social change. Additionally, the research questions explore both the positive and negative implications of cultural relativism in efforts to combat caste-based discrimination while respecting cultural diversity.
Cultural relativism encourages respect for cultural diversity, forcing understanding in global efforts to combat caste-based discrimination, but it can also hinder progress when harmful practices are justified. A cultural traditional, how can we balance the promotion of shared human values with cultural sensitivity? Today we are going to talk about a present issue in many rural communities: untouchability practices. We'll be focusing on a village in South Asia, where members of the Dalit community traditionally deemed untouchables are prohibited from using the village primary water source, a well due to long-standing cultural tradition upheld by the dominant caste. Let's meet the international human rights NGO what's visiting this village. They here to raise awareness about the harmful effects of caste discrimination and advocate for equality and the elimination of untouchability. As the NGO members engage with the village, they begin to understand the complex dynamic at play. The dominant caste, who have been in power for generations, have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo. They fear that if the Dalit community gains access to the well, it could disrupt the social order and lead to a power shift. However, the NGO members are undeterred. They continue to educate the villagers about the importance of equality and the danger of discrimination. They highlight the negative health consequences of untouchability, such as the spread of disease and the risk of contamination. As the conversion progresses, the villagers begin to see the merits to NGO's message. They realize that untouchability is not only harmful but also outdated and unjust. They start to question the traditions that have been passed down the generation and consider the possibility of a more inclusive and equal future.
Cultural relativism is the idea that a person's beliefs and practices should be understood based on their own culture, not judged by their standard of others. While this promotes respect for diversity, it can also contribute to the persistence of practices like caste-based taboos and social exclusions. How does this balance between understanding and inequality shapes contemporary societies? The scene in the university shows a student from a lower caste being discriminated.
As you can see in the slides, cybersecurity, the practice of protecting computer systems, and data from digital threats. As a rich history, this journey spans decades and indirectly linked to the development of computing and sports.
Cultural relativism emphasizes understanding practices within their cultural context, while universal beliefs advocate for values like equality and human rights. These differences often lead to conflicts, especially when groups pushing for social change clash with those defending traditional caste system. How do we navigate these tensions in a way that respects culture yet promotes fairness?
When did you do that? That was so wrong.
No, why?
Silence! Discrimination is inappropriate in classroom. You shouldn't do that. It's a university. Sorry?
Yeah, why did you do that? That's wrong.
What's the problem? It's from a different caste. It's not from the same caste as us.
That's a disgusting viewpoint.
It's not a disgusting viewpoint.
All humans are equal.
His blood is worth more than him staying there. We don't want him to stay with us. Let him go. It's from a different caste.
Silence. Madam, explain me. What exactly?
He's discriminating
discriminating against us.
No, who am I discriminating?
You're discriminating against him.
Yeah, because from a different place from us.
Stop it. This is a university. This is a higher education system. This is not acceptable here. Just go to my nerves. Your white family here. You hurt his feeling. Imagine if you were in his place. And why do you think you're better than him? Because you were lucky to be born in a different part of the culture. You don't go for anything. You're the same here. For me, I can just expel you from this school and you'll become a mockery if you want that. It's unacceptable, inappropriate. So let's forget about it, but I will notice it again.
Cultural relativism teaches us to respect diverse traditions, while universal human rights emphasize equality and justice for our others. But how can these two approaches work together to address caste-based discrimination? Finding the balance is key to promoting social justice while honoring cultural diversity. In a small village in India, weddings are deeply rooted in cultural traditions. However, a caste-based practice prohibits individuals from lower caste Dalits from participating in or attending the ceremonies of higher caste families. Conflicts. Priya, a young woman from the dominant caste, decides to marry Rahul, a Dalit man she loves. Priya's parents initially agree to the marriage, but insist on excluding Rahul's family and Dalit friends from the wedding ceremony, citing it's a cultural norm. Rahul, hurt by this exclusion, argues that such discrimination violates their shared belief in equality and human dignity. Analysis of the conflict. Cultural relativism. Previous parents argue that the exclusion is about preserving cultural traditions and avoiding social ostracization. Universal human rights. Rahul contends that the practice is inherently unjust, emphasizing the need to uphold equality for everyone regardless of caste. Balancing in two perspectives, Priya invites her parents to an open conversation, explaining that she loves and equality are deeply rooted in their faith and cultures. She highlights teaching from local reformers advocating for unity. The couple decided to reinterpret the wedding traditions inclusively, incorporating both family customs and inviting guests from all castes. To address broader resistance, they include local leaders and elders, farming their wedding as a celebration of unity. Outcome: the wedding becomes a landmark event, demonstrating that cultural traditions can coexist with principles of equality. Priya's parents, though initially hesitant, acknowledge that inclusion enhances the
I don't think what you did in class today was very right. I don't think it's right to discriminate against people just because they're from a different class from me.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should go to soccer.
I think you should. It would be better for you to reconcile with them.
Yeah, I will.
Hey man, I'm sorry for what happened the other day in class.
Oh, no, bro, it's okay. I understand. Like, I'm used to it.
What do you mean you're used to it? Discrimination is a serious thing. We should stand against it. I'm sorry, bro. Anyways, let's just be friends.
Yeah, let's just friends.
Yeah, so do you watch football?
Yeah, I had to watch. Did you watch the last night game?
Oh, yeah, bro.
Yo.
We're good.
Yeah, good.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. Bro, I'm sitting with him.
He's my friend. What do you mean, bro?
Whose friend is this, bro? It's not from the same caste, bro. How
It
can
doesn't
you be from the
matter.
same?
It doesn't matter, bro.
Oh, it
He's just
doesn't
my
matter,
friend.
bro. It's not worth it sitting with him
Bro,
together, bro. It's from
you're still
different.
doing
It's from
discrimination
a different, bro.
It doesn't matter, bro.
Bro, even I cut you off, bro. Oh, you be a friend
Yeah.
with something like a guy like him, bro.
Yeah, cut me off. I don't care.
Bro, go away, bro.
You go away. Cultural relativism and universal human rights can work together to address caste-based and other forms of discrimination. Cultural relativism emphasizes understanding and respecting cultural practices, while human rights advocate for equality and justice for all individuals. Coordinating these approaches involves finding a balance, promoting social justice by addressing harmful practices without dismissing cultural traditions, This balance ensures that cultural diversity is respected while challenging discrimination and fostering equality. Setting: a town in South Asia with a prestigious school that follows a long-standing tradition of admitting children only from upper caste families. The school justifies this practice as preserving the cultural heritage, claiming that their traditions require maintaining caste purity. However, this policy leaves Dalit students and others from lower caste with limited access to quality education. Conflict: an NGO focused on education and human rights approached the school management urging them to admit students from all castes, and the NGO argues that education is a fundamental human right and an essential tool for breaking the cycle of discrimination. The school authorities resist, stating that their admission policy is based on their cultural practices and that changing it would upset their community and donors. Analysis of the conflict: cultural relativism. The school management views its admission policies as an integral part of its cultural identity. They believe that their traditions must be preserved to maintain the institution's reputation and the values of the community they serve. Universal human rights. The NGO emphasizes the right to education for all students regardless of the caste. They argued that denying education based on caste is discriminatory and perpetuates inequality, which violates the principle of justice and equality, upheld by international human rights frameworks. Balancing cultural relativism and universal human rights, respectful engagement. The NGO approaches the school management with respect for their cultural values, emphasizing that the goal is not to undermine their traditions but to adapt them in a way that aligns with contemporary human rights principles. Collaborative solutions. The NGO suggests that the school gradually open admissions to students from lower castes by starting with scholarships and reserved seats for Dalit children. They propose integrating lessons on inclusivity and equality into curriculum, showing that cultural heritage evolves to reflect modern values without losing its essence. Community dialogue. The NGO organizes discussions with parents, teachers, and community leaders to address concerns and misconceptions about caste integration. They share stories of other institutions that have successfully combined cultural traditions with inclusive practices, showing that diversity can enhance a school's reputation rather than harming it. Incentives and partnerships. To ease the transition, the NGO requires funding from external organizations to support the school in adapting its policies. This includes financial incentives and recognition programs that celebrate the school's progress steps. Outcome. The school management agrees to plot the new admission policy, admitting a small number of Dalit children under a scholarship program. Over time, the integration proved successful, with the school gaining recognition for its inclusive practices.
In conclusion, while cultural relativism encourages respect for cultural diversity, it can sometimes justify or perpetuate caste-based discrimination. Balancing cultural respect for universal human rights is crucial in addressing inequality, promoting social justice, and fostering cultural understanding in contemporary societies.